The most unhinged online dynasty you will ever witness is here. 19 of the biggest, most verbose personalities compete on the gridiron and off the field to become the best of the best. For some, they simply just care about entertaining the masses. For others, this game is the difference between life and death. You won't just learn about the players on the field and the programs these guys coach, but you'll learn about what makes them tick, why they do the things they do. You'll get access to highlights, post-game interviews, and so much more from across the country. This place is like no other. Welcome to The League. The 19 coaches span across 4 conferences, touching all corners of the United States. There are favorites, there are dark horses, there are fan favorites, and of course, there are the lovable losers. Without further ado, here are your coaches. Starting in America's Conference, there are 5 horses jockeying for a coveted spot in the CUSA Championship game. Dustin Wagner, head coach, Missouri State. Born into a military family, Dustin split his time growing up in Germany and the States. His 2 favorite sports were football and football, excelling in both. When he was 14, his family moved again to Germany, seemingly for good. He played a ton of Madden, but the beautiful game was his real love. Wagner joined Hoffenheim FC's youth academy and looked poised for a prosperous career in the other football. But a litany of injuries derailed his career before it even started, along with his parents getting into legal trouble with the EU over bad checks. Dustin moved back to the States with his uncle, who was a football coach at Beaver Falls High School just outside of Pittsburgh. The last 2 years before college reshaped his love for American football. He went to Slippery Rock University, double majoring in kinesiology and sports management. Wagner then became a graduate assistant at Slippery Rock before working his way to the head coaching job and winning the Division II National Championship in his 5th season, translating much of what he learned from the other football to this one. Despite his unquestionable success at Division II, his inexperience and unconventional route to college football drove many programs away. But with a new move to the FBS, the Missouri State Bears needed a bold face to kickstart their program. The 35-year-old German is looking to make a name for himself, combining his knowledge of the 2 footballs to push the Bears to glory. Next up, Coach Mo Shiesty Lewis, Delaware. Coach Mo lives and breathes Northern college football. He grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he was a giant kid, seemed destined to play football. He was a solid high school offensive and defensive line and committed to Bowling Green. Mo was a 2-year starter at guard and stuck around after school to become a grad assistant and eventually the offensive line coach. During his long stint as the O-line coach, Coach Mo was quite outspoken on social media about the state of college football, often making comments about the SEC. His most known moment was when the team made a trip to Ole Miss where the Falcons lost a closer than expected game. But after the game, he went on Twitter and made comments about current coach Lane Kiffin and how his team and style would not hold up playing 12 games in the North and would struggle to make a bowl in the Big Ten. Kiffin fired back, ratioing Coach Mo, simply saying, "Scoreboard." Lots of national media members clowned Coach Mo for this, citing he should keep his mouth shut, only being a MAC offensive line coach. Mo remained outspoken. And after a MAC championship winning season behind a dominant running attack for the Falcons, Coach Mo took the offensive coordinator job at Montana State. Mo created an incredibly fast-tempo run game, which fans of the Bobcats named the Shiesty offense. And he was given the nickname Coach Mo Shiesty, in a bit of a nod to Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. Montana State dominated an FCS championship with Coach Mo at OC over Mercer, where Mo gave an incredibly passionate speech after the game about how it means more in the North, and teams like Mercer don't have the physicality or attitude to win championships at the FCS. Coach Mo would then take the head coaching vacancy at the University of Delaware, where in his opening press conference, he spent most of the time talking about how the main reason he took the job is Northern pride, and to make Conference USA run through the North. In the press conference, he was famously asked if he was concerned about the move to the FBS. And he was quoted saying, "Us? Concerned? I want you to ask the coaches at Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, Missouri State, and Middle Tennessee if they're concerned. And if any of them say no, ask them again after we hang 50 on them." Now we talk about the oldest coach in the league, Doc Hudson of Middle Tennessee State University. No, this is not that Doc Hudson, although some say Doc carries himself much in the same way as the great Hudson Hornet. Doc grew up in a small town in Wyoming right outside of Yellowstone National Park. He was your true Western cowboy, loved hunting, fishing, and everything in between. Nature is where he feels at peace. The other love of Doc's life is football, and while he's never played a snap of football in his life, most in the region just east of the Rockies know him as one of the smartest football minds there is. Most call him an encyclopedia of knowledge. If you want to know how every player should fit a power run, well, in an underfront, he can show you. It's been said that he's such a good teacher of the game that kids as young as 5 are able to articulate football on a level that would mesmerize even the most tenured of coaches. Oh, I also forgot to mention Doc's never actually coached a day in his life either. Why, you might be asking? Well, in his own words, he's too much of a perfectionist. When he's tried to coach in the past, he's gone to dark places. So dark that he needed an entire week in the wilderness to reset. So how did Doc end up in Murfreesboro, Tennessee? Cancer. About 6 months ago, Doc found out that he had stage 1 testicular cancer. At the ripe age of 68, with no kinship to his name, Doc decided it was time to do something he had always dreamed of doing: coaching football. When you're as smart as Doc, having good recommendations is not hard. When MTSU heard he was looking, they hired him on the spot. At his opening team meeting, he said perfection is the expectation. Anything less is seen as a failure. At an MTSU, we don't fail. If that's too much for you, the door is right there. I have 5 or so years left on this planet. I will not settle for anything less than a national title. And fuck Western Kentucky. Chuck Downfield is the head coach for your Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Remember the sprinkler, he says. Meet Chuck Downfield, once a highly touted prospect. His pro career came to a halt after a tragic accident. Visiting his grandmother in Tennessee, he was playing catch with himself, but tripped full speed on a sprinkler. When he tried to stand up, a career-ending Charlie horse would cripple him. Since then, he's had a permanent limp and hung up the cleats for good. With a hatred for that state down south, he took his talents to broadcasting with backyard football. But he's been missing something: the thrill of the game. A coaching job opened in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and ever since then, he's had 2 things on his mind: win a national championship and get revenge on the state that took his career. What kind of place is Murfreesboro, Tennessee anyways? And last but not least, in Conference USA, Lou Brown, the head coach of the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Lou Brown is a very laid-back individual until it's go time. Then once it is, he is all up in your crap. He is in the face of all of his players, yelling at them and telling them how much of a disgrace they are to their families. But after the game, he'll crack open a few cold ones, maybe a little too many, start slurring his words with the boys. He's down to have a good time after the team gets the W. We move on over to America's Conference, where 5 of the meanest mugs you will ever see look to turn the MAC into the powerhouse it was always meant to be. And we start with none other than Hugh Janis, the head coach for Buffalo. Run the damn ball. That's his mantra that he lives by. Referred to simply as UNC by his peers and enemies alike, Hugh Janis does things his way. After a decorator career in the U.S. Army, Hughes spent time at Ohio University, where he captured his first and only conference title. Upon direct order from the President of the United States and the Joint Chief of Staff, Hugh took over as the head ball coach at West Point. He was intrigued by the idea of the triple option and quickly learned it would be an uphill climb. In the era of TikTok football, Hugh found it difficult to compete with other teams around the country. It wasn't until an ayahuasca trip in the South Pacific where Coach Janis connected with the spirit of Coach Mike Leach did he learn the importance of spreading the field. The U.S. Army learned of this shindig in the South Pacific, and he was promptly fired from West Point. The Black Knights team continued to struggle in his absence. Now, Hugh makes his triumphant return to the conference that raised him, this time in the city of chicken wings and broken folding tables. Some of the inspiration in Coach Janis' life include Coach Dan Campbell, Detroit Tigers ace Tarek Skubal, U.S. Army Major Dick Winters, Charlie Brown, Scooby-Doo, and the Rizzler. The coach with all the confidence in the world, Coach Cam King, is headed up in Toledo. At just 33 years old, Cam King is one of the youngest head coaches in the FBS, and his rise is fueled by more than just wins. His journey is as bold as his name, born to young parents who named him King simply because the V was cool. That flash of confidence stuck, defining the way he'd approach the game and life. King's playing career lasted only one unforgettable play. As a 17-year-old true freshman at Ohio State in 2014, he was a promising wide receiver that waited on the sidelines during their national championship run. In his debut during the first college game of the next season, in the last minute of the fourth quarter, he broke free on a wheel route and hauled in a 53-yard touchdown catch, stretching across the goal line to score his first touchdown. But as he crossed into the end zone, he was met by future NFL All-Pro Minkah Fitzpatrick, then a star defensive back at Alabama. The collision resulted in a catastrophic knee injury, similar but more detrimental to the devastating injury Nick Chubb suffered, ending King's playing career instantly. From that moment, King poured every ounce of passion into coaching. Later that same year, at just 18 years old, he decided to try volunteering as an assistant coach for the Point Pleasant Big Blacks. When the school handed the head coaching reins to the then 23-year-old King, many doubted he could succeed. Critics labeled him too inexperienced and questioned if he could coach players around his own age. King proved every skeptic wrong. Over 5 seasons, he rebuilt Point Pleasant into a championship powerhouse, capturing 3 state titles in 4 years, bringing pride, discipline, and a winning culture. His remarkable success earned him a shot at the collegiate level. 28, King became head coach at the University of West Florida, bringing the same Ohio grit, innovative offense, and fearless make-or-break defense that defined his high school reign. The jump to college ball wasn't instant glory. UWF missed the Division II playoffs in each of his first 2 seasons, but what followed was historic. 2 national championships in a 3-year span, cementing King's reputation as one of the most dynamic minds in the game. Perhaps most notably, King played a pivotal role in the rise of Andy Abreu, one of college football's most versatile dual-threat quarterbacks. King's system and mentorship transformed Abreu into a rare NFL draft pick from Division II, a testament to his ability to turn dreams into reality. That combination, proven championship pedigree, and a track record of developing professional caliber talent put King perhaps most notably squarely on Toledo's radar, and they made the move to bring him in after he captured his 3rd national title. Now at 33 years old, Cam King is ready to lead the Rockets into a new era with relentless energy, unshakable integrity, and the hunger that has defined every step of his extraordinary rise. My focus is simple: make players' dreams come true and win championships. Everything else follows when you got those 2 right. After the departure of Tim Albin, the Ohio Bobcats needed to find somebody to fill that role, and they did so with Sean Combs. Unfortunately, Sean Combs shares his name with a man that is most well known for his parties. This Combs is not that guy. However, he does have some off-the-field issues which raise a concern about how he'll deal with Court Street in Athens. Combs simply tells everyone that asks him about it to mind your business. Next is the unquestioned favorite in all of college football, the Bowling Green Falcons, coached by P. Rizzi. He is a young head football coach with a lot of problems heading into 2025. After coaching low-level programs in the middle of nowhere in Southeast Ohio, Rizzi decided it was the best decision to take on a college football head coaching spot. He was well mistaken, as he was tasked with going many miles away to replace Jamie Chadwell in Lynchburg, Virginia, to become the new head coach of the Liberty Flames. He did not succeed after one lousy season in 2024 with his terrible play calling and questionable recruiting tactics. Some of these recruiting tactics included Rizzi stalking high school players' Twitter accounts and commenting different absurd Bible quotes on highlight reels posted on their social media pages. Rizzi was chased out of the program after protesters and donors from the school questioned if he had the right mentality compared to the rest of the Flames' political views on race and university decisions. As a result, Rizzi left Virginia and escaped back to Ohio in exile. Rumors also surfaced in 2024 about both his high school and at Liberty campaigns, with athletes failing drug tests and accusing Rizzi of providing the players with PEDs. Most of the cases dealt with anabolic steroids and unprescribed painkillers for those players. A total of 20 of them from Southeast Ohio and Liberty have spoken out against Rizzi. In 2025, it was announced in a shocking way that instead of the Bowling Green Falcons football program being taken over by Eddie George, he decided to pursue other ventures and give the head coaching job with all of his plans for the future to a kid with little experience and questionable coaching decisions. Going into this season, Rizzi's goal is to build the Falcons program to a future MAC championship before either the program falls apart or Rizzi falls apart because of a new scandal surfacing. For the first time ever, UMass actually has their guy. Florian Kosminski is the great-grandson of possible Jack the Ripper suspect Aaron Kosminski. He has taken over duties for the UMass football program. After the unexpected death of UMass head coach Joe Harris-Miak, Kosminski has taken over duties after a short search just before the season started. Kosminski is known for his passing attack from the British football system. Many are shocked to see him get the job, but UMass has put all their backing behind him, stating that he has a killer attitude towards the game, and he'll kill it out on that field. Next up is America's Conference. It's the only conference that still does divisions, which makes for an interesting conference race. These boys don't mess around on the field, but they may or may not off of it. That's right, we're on to the Sun Belt. Starting in Louisiana, Hingle McCringleberry is taking over the Raging Cajuns. Coach McCringleberry has always been a coach that didn't define himself by wins and losses. He was born and raised on Long Island, New York, where he was coddled and never really had to face the weight of expectation. He started his coaching career as a GA at Ohio University, where he left the year before Ohio snapped their 56-year MAC title drought. He took his talents to Memphis University, where he let a talented G5 roster go to waste after getting pantsed by East Carolina in the AAC title game. Mediocrity is the word to best describe Coach McCringleberry on the field. However, off the field, he's had his own issues that he will have to deal with if he wants to succeed. In interviews, he has said his favorite pastimes are getting lit with my frat bros and drinking. He'll now take his talents to Louisiana University, where the Raging Cajuns are expected to compete in a difficult Sun Belt. When asked why he applied for this job, McCringleberry said, "Good fucking yard." Possibly the most reserved coach in the league, Noah Cavan, the head coach of Old Dominion, is just himself. He's using his real name. And just like his play style, they don't play no shit around these parts. Hope y'all recruit punters. Signed, Noah Cavan. The most unhinged coach in the most unhinged league that you will see, Coach Goon, is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, coaching the Chanticleers. The Gooner himself has returned to the holy land of Myrtle Beach. Coach Goon, otherwise known as the Goon Man, accepted the head coaching position at Coastal Carolina for 2 reasons. 1, he really likes palm trees, and 2, he really likes blonde women. Coastal could offer them both, and so it was a no-brainer. Coach Goon, who is part of a money laundering scheme involving Goldberg and Finkelstein, bought his way to the Coastal Carolina job at just 21 years old with no prior coaching experience. He's already vowed to attend every Coastal women's soccer game because he's a big fan of their game. Coach Goon plans to win right away, starting with Virginia week 1. Virginia is a shit school, Coach Goon said. Coach signed a 3-year contract in January, promising him a case of Pacificos per win, stating that he expects to drink 12 beers per game day. Las cervezas en Las Carolina del Sur, Mr. Goon said right after blowing a .24. You can expect to see the 2025 Sun Belt Championship game in Conway this season. Very confident for a man who's blowing a .24. Now we get to the unquestioned number 2 behind P. Rizzi. That would be Coach Mike Roth of the App State Mountaineers. The bad boy of the Online Dynasty is back with a new squad in College Football 26. After winning 4 national championships at Colorado State in College Football 25, a new challenge awaits. With a defensive mindset that would make the Sean Payton New Orleans Saints proud, many teams left Fort Collins, Colorado in a stretcher instead of a plane. After questions arose due to his tight bond with star wide receiver kick returner Marvin Garrison, Coach Roth announced a lightning-fast retirement from coaching. After stepping away to spend time focusing on himself, Coach Roth has a new home in Boone. Coach Roth has 3 goals with App State, and that's to win national titles, eat Bojangles every single morning, and continue his unbeaten record versus Coach Goon. And we can't forget about America's Conference. Out west, there will be a lot of running the football, turnovers, and potato bowl victories. 5 guys competing for a chance to hoist a bowl of potatoes is really what the American dream was built on. We'll start out at Utah State with Coach Eric Taylor. God, country, and football. 3 things this Texas native was raised on. Prior to taking over at Utah State, Taylor was the head coach of the Dillon Panthers, where he won the 2006 Texas High School State Championship as a heavy underdog. After a couple of seasons of early playoff exits and a tough state championship loss, Dillon High School split into East and West, and Taylor was tasked with the coaching the East Dillon Lions. Coach Taylor eventually brought a state title to East Dillon before budget cuts ended their program. Taylor then moved to Philadelphia to coach Pemberton Pioneers in 2010, where he delivered 3 state championships. After his stint in Philadelphia, Taylor moved up to the college world, working as a quarterbacks coach for Texas State from 2014 to 2018. Taylor accepted an offensive coordinator position at Utah State ahead of the 2019 season and will be promoted to head coach in 2025. When asked about coaching, Taylor emphasized, "A good coach only cares about winning games. A great coach cares about winning the hearts of every individual in and out of the organization. A great coach cares about his players and staff and their well-being beyond the sideline. A great coach cares about the community he's coaching in, getting close to the fan base and letting them know you're more than a coach." Next up is the coach of the Nevada Wolfpack. Hey, would you blow me? After a stellar career at Eastlake North High School, amassing a total of 0 snaps played, but winning Northeast Ohio Water Boy of the Year, Would You Blow Me walked onto the Lakeland Community College football team and was an instant starter for the Lakers. In his 2 years with the Lakers, Would You Blow Me amazed scouts with an impressive 100 rushing touchdowns over 2 seasons as the starting running back. His motto, "Run the damn ball," translates over into his coaching career. After his 2 seasons with Lakeland, Would You Blow Me transferred to Cleveland State University. In his 2 years with the Vikings, he continued to impress, putting up 50 rushing touchdowns over 2 years, with 10 coming in one game against in-city rivals Cuyahoga Community College. Would You Blow Me spent his graduate year with the Arizona Wildcats of the Big 12, being mentored by former Wildcat linebacker Scooby Wright III. In his final season, he won Big 12 Running Back of the Year. Would You Blow Me joins the Nevada coaching staff with assistant coaches Tarek Cottrell and Ethan Thanthanavong. He tells us to get ready to run the damn ball. Would You Blow Me tells the fans to expect good football from day one and trust the process. Go Pack. Now we head out to California, where Hardy Sonnenberger Jr. is coaching the Fresno State Bulldogs. Hardy Sonnenberger Jr. is an American football coach at Fresno State. He's originally born from a small town in northwest Ohio where he almost led his team to the state title game. Originally named Clark Blaycock, Hardy changed his name to honor his former high school coach who passed away due to cancer. However, his coach already had a son, Carl Jr., so Clark went with the next best thing and named himself Hardy. Hardy was on staff at Fresno State when then head coach Carl Blaylock sucker punched and assaulted Colorado State head coach Mike Roth. After the ensuing fight, Hardy questioned his love for coaching and spent 2 years living in Montana. While living in Montana, Hardy learned to appreciate running the damn ball and reignited his love for coaching. Fresno State saw this and decided to hire him as the head coach. Many questions remain for the new head man of the Bulldogs. Can he overcome his lack of experience? Will he be able to keep up in the Mountain West while just running the ball? And how in the hell will he survive in sweater vests in the California Valley? These questions are going to be answered this season. Our next coach is quite the man himself, Alfred the Slug Booth, the head coach at San Diego State University. Born January 6, 1986, Alfred Gonzalez Booth was huge. Biggest baby ever to be seen. Clocking in at 6'2", 305 pounds by the time he was a freshman at Capistrano Valley High School in his hometown of Mission Viejo, California, he was hand-sculpted by God to be an offensive lineman. God wept when he saw his creation. 4-time Offensive Lineman of the Year in the state, playing every position while breaking the career pancake record in California on his way to 3 state titles. Alfred the Slug Booth committed to San Diego State University, where he earned the nickname The Slug for eating a slug during initiation rituals. It stuck with him forever. Even his children call him The Slug, even though he's told them how sore of a memory it is for him. The Slug dominated his freshman year, nearly becoming the first tackle to win a Heisman. Then it happened. The night of March 28, 2006, angry degenerate sports bettor Ethan Sargent armed himself with a metal bat and met the Slug outside of his off-campus apartment. Sargent, infuriated by the Star's second-place finish in the Heisman race, which lost him millions, swung with fury at his knees. He shattered them, yelling about the government and how this will teach those Heisman voters. Despite a nationwide search for him, he was never found. The Slug's playing days were over, and he would never move the same again. He cursed the world for his bad luck, but had a specific distaste for football. He returned to CVHS as an urban legend, coaching the wrestling team to a dominant 17-year run from 2007 to 2024, purely out of spite. Then, SDSU called. You never got to live out your dream of winning a title with us, they said. A smile creeped across Booth's face. I was going to transfer, dumbasses. You think I would stay there? Before SDSU could respond, Booth continued, but if you're asking me to come back as head coach, then I'm in. Got to get out of town, man. They found out about the explosion. So Alfred Booth once again became the Slug, with his goal of taking SDSU to the top, until somebody comes along with more money, of course. If you want to meet the most pessimistic man in America, let me take you on over to San Jose, California, and to the campus of the San Jose State Spartans to meet their head man, Aiden Crowley. There is not much in this world that Coach Crowley likes. In fact, there's not much he's hopeful about at all. He's been on record stating that the world's death is imminent and that he has a bunker ready to go for when that day comes. Some also call him the king of throwing his players under the bus. He claims that to be untrue, but his rivals use that as a negative recruiting tactic against him. All of that aside, if you're looking for points, Crowley's teams know how to put them up, and he's looking to run the Mountain West. And there you have it. 19 of the oddest dudes you will ever meet all happen to find themselves in the same league. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Stay tuned for every Friday for updates around the league, highlights, interviews, and whatever else may be interesting in the league. This is something that you're going to want to stay tuned into. That is all I have for you today. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you on the flip. See ya.